Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Women's Leadership Forum. We're back on this very special day. You know, typically it's a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but you know what? So many people have come across the tracks of the Women's Leadership Forum that I just felt I had to introduce you to someone special, someone new. So let me tell you who I am. My name's Colette Coakley. I am the Vice President of Human Resources for Maryland Public Television, and I'm coming to you today as the founder of the Women's Leadership Forum. What is that, you ask? Oh, because I can hear you asking. It is a gathering of women who talk about their next greatest thing. We're talking about how we can get together and support one another, emerge victorious, be on that next ladder of success, whatever success is, finding out our purpose through other people, through their stories, through their relationships. We're sharing. So, we have a website. Our website is forwardwlf.org, or you can find us through our hashtag, which is forwardwlf. Okay, we have so much in store for you this year. Now, we just squeezed ourselves barely, just before the shutdown. Last year, we were at Notre Dame in their auditorium, and we had over 500 women. Can you imagine 500 women having conversation about what they want to do next, and each person grabbing a hold of the next and holding on tight and saying, I can help you. I can help you get to where you want to go, to where you want to be, what you want to do next. How do you want to do it? Asking ourselves questions about what is our purpose? What's the meaning of what it is that we have to offer? And then sharing those things. And then becoming purposeful about our steps, our next steps of what we want to do to move it forward. Fast forward this year, we have over 1,000 women in our database, 1,000 women who can share what they have to offer. We're not asking for you to step out of your lane. In fact, we're asking you to stay in your lane and then share with us how you are the expert of that lane. If you are the queen of paper and you know how to organize it, and we're in need of an organizer, we're looking for you. We're looking for you. We want you to be your best in your lane. And so we're asking you to either register for the forum or sign up for our newsletter. You can do that again on the forwardwlf.org or find us through the hashtag. Now, registration is $50. We're asking for you to pay $50 to be in the room with over 500 people. Now you say, Colette, what did your governor say? You can't have over 10 people in the room. Okay, you're right. You are right. We are coming to you virtually for 3 days. We're coming virtually for 3 days on March 18th through the 20th. And so you can stay in your home and be protected. If you want to wear your mask in your home, that's on you. If you want to gather 2 women around and be socially distant to hear what we have to say and what we have to offer, we welcome that. But we ask you to buy a ticket. Now, we're asking you to make a $50 donation actually to yourself, because we're asking you to invest in yourself to be a part of the Women's Leadership Forum. On day 1, we are offering a keynote speaker in April Ryan. Day 2, oh wait, let me stay on day 1. There's so much in day 1 that I'm just trying to skip over it. Let me back up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm rewinding. Okay, keynote April Ryan. Moderator. The moderator is Sheila Murphy. And we have a round table of women from the community talking about womanhood, the things that affect us most. If you think that every day somebody wants to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for their children, wrong. And we talk about those things. Ooh, you'll find that there are people that have things that you expressly don't care for. You have somebody in common. You have a sister who believes in the same thing that you believe. And we talk about those things. We talk about them, and there's no penalty. If you don't like making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, your sister over here is going to offer you something else to make for your children instead. We share. And in that sharing, we have 13 workshops that we are offering this year that you can choose to go in and out of. Now, that might not make for the best learning, but what it does do is give you an offering. It gives you a choice. You can go in our budgeting room. You can go in our resume writing room. You may go into our visual. How do you appear visually on camera? And this year, we have somebody who can expressly speak to you about your communication skills. And we're going to talk about that a little later. Now, remember, for those of you who are following us, that February is Heart Month. It's all about love, and it's all about loving you all and making sure you all get what you need to come to the forum prepared. We are pouring out our heart to you. We are speaking from the heart because we speak authentically during this time. And we want to encourage women to always speak authentically, right? So we encourage you to this month to think about your heart. And even on Mondays, now, we come to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. And this is a special day because some of you are looking at your computer and say, what day is this? Okay, because she said Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and today is a Thursday. Today is a special day, folks. But on Mondays, we have nutrition and health, and we talk about mental health. We talk about what it is that we're eating, and we also exercise. This is how I get it in. We exercise. So whether it's doing yoga or Zumba or we're getting our cardio in, we are trying to get it. And I'm not the leader of that. We bring in the specialists because probably if it was left up to me, we might not be doing it. So we bring in people who encourage us to do the right thing. Now, speaking of the right thing and encouragement, we have someone in our purple room today that I'm so proud to introduce today to you all. And her name is, let me just get this off there so you can see it, Kenya Taylor. And she's a business owner, right? Mm-hmm. I told you it was special today. We bringing in a business owner today. Her name is Kenya Taylor, and she's the business owner of Express Pros. And I think that that's short for, give us the long version of Express Pros.
Sure. First of all, hello. How are you?
Yeah.
Of Express Employment Professionals. I am the owner of the Towson branch.
Okay. And so I want to introduce her properly. We're going to, and then we're going to talk from there about her services and what you all could be doing to help move it forward, right? So, Miss Taylor here, she's a franchise owner. So, Express Employment Professionals is part of a franchise. And she's the owner of the franchise in Towson, Maryland. And Express, okay, they shortened it up. Express is the world's largest franchise staffing company. So let me just stop right there for a second. I tell you, when I'm bringing to you experts, I mean it. We have people who are part of larger entities, who can speak to the greatness of what they are owning, what they are bringing to you, and who they are. So, what does she do? She helps job seekers find work, and they help businesses find great and productive talent. Now, all of you all who are watching, who are job seekers, should be looking up Miss Kenya Taylor and looking up Express Employment Professionals. Okay, that's free to do. And it's step number one. So when we talk about networking and getting to know others, especially when they're powerful people like Miss Kenya Taylor, who can help you to get a job and employment, you want to take down the name and you want to take down the business, because they can help you move it forward. And that's what we're trying to do here with the Women's Leadership Forum. Because this year we found that the statistics are saying women are the number one stat for being out of a job. They're the highest stat for being out of a job. And guess what? We are the jugglers. Just before we came on, we were talking about juggling. We are the jugglers in our families. Not only are we sometimes the breadwinners, but we are the jugglers. We're working on keeping the kids entertained. We're working on homeschooling now. Some of us hoping that they go back to school, right? Quick, fast, in a hurry. But if you're unemployed, how do you keep that all together? So we brought Miss Kenya Taylor, who is also, I'm proud to say, she's a supporter of the Women's Leadership Forum, and she's bringing jobs to the forum, right? Yeah. We are proud to say welcome, 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 and thank you for being here, Miss Taylor.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introductory. I'm so glad to be here.
So every woman that comes on this platform, we ask the most important question. Okay, you're a big shot, you're a big time business owner, you're doing well, you're doing okay, you're surviving COVID. And that's a lot to say, okay? It is a lot to say, because earlier when we were talking, we were saying how much it was a struggle, right?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. I don't read all of that because I think it's important for you to tell that it's not always easy getting to where you are, or it was super easy, right? And you may have had help, but it's in our stories that we get to relate to the people that we encounter. So please tell us what your journey has been like.
Sure. And I'll tell you from the beginning, it has not been easy, and it's still not easy. I come to the table with 14 years of corporate America experience. I have a finance degree from Morgan State University.
Go Bears. Okay, you gotta say that here.
I always have to plug them. I always have to throw it in there.
Go Bears. Go Bears.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I have a master's from University of Maryland in international management. So I started out my career actually in staffing. I worked behind the scenes at a large IT staffing firm. And then I left there and I started working for Black & Decker in the finance department. From there, I went on to the Comptroller of Maryland's department. I was a revenue field auditor. So I was out doing alcohol and tobacco wholesalers. So it was a very interesting ride. And people disliked me as soon as they saw me pull up at their location. So it was interesting. And from there, I just had my foot in finance. I worked in healthcare staffing as well, and I worked in the hospital before. So I would say that each one of my positions have been a building block to where I am now. I branched out at some point. I knew that I wanted to do that. So I researched a couple of franchises to see what best suited me as a person. and Express kind of stood out to me because of it's being very professional. And I enjoy the fact that I have a lot of backing and support for my corporate office in Oklahoma. Express has been around for 35 years. So I knew that if I was going to branch out from corporate America, I wanted to go with someone that was strong in the industry. And so it has been bumpy. We just turned 3 years old yesterday, actually.
Oh,
My office hit 3 years.
happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So 3 years, and each year has been different. Going into year two, coming out of that, I would have never thought that we would have experienced COVID. That was not in the game plan at all.
No, none of our game plans,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it was just figuring it out every single day. I started out at the beginning of 2020 with about 75 job orders that needed to be filled immediately.
Hmm.
And that quickly dwindled down and dwindled down month after month. By March, it was pretty glaring to me that I would have to do some layoffs. Every other day I came into the office, I had to let an associate go that was out on assignment. And typically our assignments are temp to perm. So they're under me during their probation period. And after that, they roll over to the company. I had to rescind a lot of offers that were out in the field and tell people, I know you're working right now, but I need you to drop your tools and you have to leave. We just got notification that they can no longer have any temporary employees on site. So I went through that every single day. And then also internally, figuring out at what point I would have to lay my own staff off. And we actually went through 2 rounds of layoffs internally. So every day it's been bumpy. We're at the point now where we're coming out of it, which is great. We have so many job orders right now, and it's been other challenges. I like to tell people in the beginning of 2020, it was kind of hard to get the job orders that we did have. We were just set up very fortunately. And now we kind of have a different shift that's happening. I have so many job orders, but there are a lot of people who are either afraid to work, do not want to work right now, or are, kind of on the fence. Maybe I'll do something that's a little bit of both. I can be at home sometimes, but go to the office. So we're in this weird space where I have clients that are wanting to ramp up and wanting to hire more, but it's very challenging for me to find people to work right now.
And are you saying that they're afraid to work because of they're on location and COVID? Is that what it is?
So I think, yes, I think that is, of course, one part of it, that they are afraid. They don't know what the setup is going to be like. They're afraid of exposure. Some do use public transportation. I have a large segment of my associates that use public transportation. So you're using public transportation to get to work in an environment, you're not sure how many people are going to be in that environment.
Right.
So we're battling that. And at the same time, some of the positions deal with public spaces. So who are you going to have to interact with in that space that put yourself at risk? So it's a lot of barriers that we're dealing with now. But it's just the industry that we're in right now. I had, in the last 2 weeks, I probably had 3 to 4 people not show up for either their interview or the job itself. So that is kind of what our running theme is of what we're experiencing right now. And it's overwhelming. We don't always know how to deal with it, because pre-pandemic, we always interviewed to always be prepared for that.
Yeah.
So if somebody didn't show up, okay, we have Bob who also has similar skills. Now, because it's so hard to get that one candidate that someone really loves and really want to meet and put them to work. So when you get that and then that person doesn't show up for the interview, it's like, oh man, this is
oh my gosh.
This is killing me. This is literally killing me.
But I don't know,
So,
Kenny, I want to stop you right there because I'm wondering what that is too, because you're the second person today to tell me that things like that go on. Like the etiquette, even, the whole job etiquette thing of saying that I'm unable to show up or I won't, all of that is kind of lost. And I don't know what people, I don't, I don't have an answer for that. And neither did the other person that I was speaking with. It's like, I have vice presidents. They have vice presidents jobs available. And they were saying it was a difficult job to fill because it required clearance, right? But our Black and brown people especially, they're not even applying. They're not trying for those positions. I don't know whether it's a confidence level or whether it's a comfort level. I'd rather stay home. Or it's just I'm not ready to go back out there and work. It's just like because there's too much uncertainty out there for exposure to COVID or any other virus that's out there. It's too much. There's too much of the unknown. I don't know. And if somebody does know or have some answers, or if I'm missing something, I would love for them to throw that in the chat somewhere, because it's for recruiters. They're left scratching their heads. It's like, I've got the perfect job. You have the skill. Yes, it might take a little getting over the hump, but that's income for you and your family. We're trying to understand what's on the line for you. And two, could we know that up front so that we know not to recommend a job that might require X from you and you don't have it to give?
So I'll first start out by saying all three that you mentioned could very well all three be varying factors for any given body at any given point, is what I tell my team. So all 3 points that you mentioned is what we talk about all day, every day. But I think from our perspective, we have to keep pushing. We have to find that one who really wants to work and really wants the opportunity. But we had the issue of, and they use this term in dating, ghosting. It is an issue for executive recruitment on down. So I even had a similar position. I had an executive position I was recruiting for at the beginning of 2020. They loved her. She went through like 2 rounds of interviews. Going into the 3rd round of interviews, she was set up and everything. She just did not show up. And I have not heard from her since. So it happens at every level, whether it's an executive or it's someone working in a warehouse. It happens at every single level. And I try to tell people that, like, oh, no, it's just a warehouse worker who didn't want to show up. They probably go down the street and get another job. That's possible. But when you need a warehouse or plant manager, the same possibility may still exist. I always try to present my clients with at least 3 candidates to choose from. I've always done that from the beginning of time in staffing, because 1 out of the 3 is going to pull through. Now, it might not be your very top pick, because your very top pick that you fell in love with may be the one to say, oh, I have another offer on the table. Can you counter? Sure, I can counter for you. So you're going to have a mixture of that happens. But I think a lot of what I was doing before the pandemic, I hope I could at some point start back doing. And I think you and I talked about this. I do a lot of community speaking engagements, and I used to partner very heavily with high schools in the area and try to mitigate some of those issues that we're seeing now in the workforce. And I would just have like a coffee hour with the young people and just talk about any and everything that they wanted to talk about, from dressing to an interview. How do you conduct yourself on an interview? What do you do after the interview? And then secondly, How do you save? What does savings look like? Do you need to go and get that Starbucks coffee? Like, no, you really don't. So let's figure some things out. So I really enjoyed that. And I'm hopeful that if we can continue to do some of those efforts early on, that maybe we won't see so much of this down the road. Otherwise, I'm not really sure
Yeah.
what
How
else we
are
can
jobs
do.
so you build? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question,
Mhm.
what type of jobs do you have?
Mhm. Currently, I have a variety of positions. I have a store associate position for anybody that's a mom that wants to get back out there for just a few hours. I have that. I have a quality manager position for a small aerospace company that has been very challenging to fill. The reason
Why
why
is it challenging? Why is it challenging?
it's the skill set. And like you were saying, for those positions that has a high level skill set, I usually get one or two applicants. It's variable because some people may think like a staffing company does not have those type of jobs, so they don't even bother to apply. So then I'm out there searching, looking for them, and then when I call them, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you did that." And it's absolutely I do. I do. Let's talk, let's figure it out and see if it's something you're interested in. So it's often difficult for me to find those applicants. So that's a position that I'm looking to fill. I have a couple of high-end manufacturing positions where they're looking for electrical and mechanical assemblers. I also looking for a property manager. Another specific one, they would love for the person to have affordable housing experience. That is very rare. And the 3 years that I've been open, I probably have interviewed two that have that sort of experience. So I'm getting more niche positions, which tend to take a lot longer for me to fill. However, clients have their ones on the manufacturing side, their production needs. So
Right.
I have a time frame on the quality manager. I need to find one before the month is out because the person that's in it is retiring. He's been in that role for 26 years. So I'm trying to find his replacement, which is
So
extremely.
I can get it in the what is it, comments here.
Mhm.
Where give me the URL for where people can find it,
Yeah.
or yeah.
So our website is www.expresspros, and that's PROS.com. And
Dot com.
yes, and then backslash Towson MD. That's for my specific site.
Wait a minute. I know my skill set, which is not typing. Okay. Okay. Towson, MD.
Yes, you got it.
Okay. We're gonna believe that that's correct up there. Okay.
All right.
So what I am gleaning from the little bit of conversation that we have had is that there is an etiquette to a job search.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking about for you, Kenya, but I am talking about for the applicant or for the searcher. And people are forgetting
Yes.
that I'm going to use your terminology or the terminology of today. They're ghosting the job,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Don't ghost the job because that ends up following you.
It does.
If somebody is actually, if you think about it, if one of your friends is helping you to find a job, and a search firm, a staffing firm is going to be your best friend for helping you find a job.
Mhm.
You are not trying to ghost the staffing firm or the job because they're not going to want to look for you again. If that's what you, if that is that your skill set, ghosting?
Mhm.
There, because actually it's not only your reputation on the line, but it's also The staffing agent, they want to know, who are you sending me that is going to ghost me?
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
other thing is that you also are setting the table for the person that comes behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And so people become leery of what that other person who's coming behind you, what are they going to do? You ghost me, are they going to ghost me too? You
Yeah,
set that other person up in a bad way.
you do.
And so, the alternative is to talk to your staffing person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
staffing agency about what your experiences or your circumstance is.
Mm-hmm.
And let the staffing agency do the talking for you if you decide that that's not the job for you.
Yes. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And it's something again that we talk about every single day. And I fortunately have been in staffing for so long that I've grown a thick skin that it just kind of rolls off my back. It's just something that happens because you're dealing with people, and
Yeah.
people are extremely unpredictable. So I like to tell the team that they get so down and they're like, well, why can't he just tell me that he didn't like the job and I could have helped him find something else? And my response is always, people are people. I
Yeah.
will never understand why. Sometimes they do come back 6 months later and I'll pull it up in the system and I'll say, unfortunately, you didn't show up for the job that we assigned you to, so we cannot work with you anymore. We wish you well in your future endeavors, but we cannot work with you anymore. And then they'll try one of our other offices because we do have 10 strategically placed in Maryland. And that office sometimes does refer back to us and say, hey, such and such mentioned that they may have registered with you in the past. What was that experience like? He didn't show up to work. I wish you well. So it is an etiquette that is lost. I think we started talking about this probably about 10 years ago, how there is a lost art of customer service in general, of treating people
Ooh,
how you would want to be treated. And
ooh.
they never look at the other side of it. I'm very fortunate that, I have a lot of business experience, and majority of my clients, we have a very, very good relationship. Like some of my clients will just pick up the phone and be like, hey, somebody reached out to me, not sure if they're affiliated with you, but I just wanted to talk to you about it. So we do have that very good relationship. But there are times when my clients get extremely upset with me when I vouch for someone and they don't show up. And I'll get emails in all caps and they're like, you really let me down. And it's like, oh, that really hurts me because I really like you and I love working with you. And all I can do is present the person in the best light. I can't do anything else. I can't make him show up. I can't make him do the job, but I'll do what I can. And I just try to fix it. But it just creates more work for me, makes me tired, makes the team tired. When at the end of the day, our core mission is to put people to work. That's all we're trying to do. So if you don't like the job, or if you're no longer interested, that's all you have to say. I'm no longer interested in this opportunity. You know what? Thank you so much. I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you letting me know. We'll find someone else.
So in the chat, we have Dr. Nicole Kennedy who commented, you know, I worked for PW agencies and I was treated like trash. Ooh. And like many AA staff, I never ghosted the job.
Mm.
I know many that did. Uh-huh.
Many. There are many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So,
So, something our parents always taught, your reputation precedes you. Right? Right? And sometimes that's all you have.
yes.
That's all you have.
Mhm.
So, if you didn't get anything out of today's talk, don't ghost the job.
Yeah.
Do not ghost the job. Don't ghost the job. It is better that you have that conversation. And even if you, here's one thing that a pastor told me. When you don't have the words, start out by saying, I don't have the words. I don't have the words.
Mm-hmm.
It will help you have words. Believe it or not. I don't know where that trick came from, but if you start out that way and you say, I really don't have the words to express what it is that I'm feeling, but and as the kids say, I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm feeling some kind of way about this job. I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell you what it is, but I don't think this job is for me. That is much better than ghosting a job.
Yes, absolutely.
I also want to share one other tip because this brought to mind something that happened to me where we hired a young lady from a temp agency, and it wasn't Express Pros. Okay, we hired from a temp agency, and the lady proceeded to tell us all how wrong we were.
Whoa.
She went from person to person to say that our company was terrible. She had skills. She had mad skills, but she lacked one, and that was diplomacy. And that will get you nowhere. Nowhere. That is an easy no-go, no fit. We will ghost you. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that will get you nowhere. So don't go on the job thinking, one, you're above the job, right? And then two, don't run your mouth from place to place talking ill of either the place or the people that are working on the job. Your better bet is calling Miss Taylor and saying, this is not the job for me. She's your best friend.
I am.
Just tell your best friend those secrets.
Yeah.
No judgment zone. Every job is not going to be for you.
It's not.
It is not going to be for you. And that goes for temporary employment all the way through permanent. Every job may not be for you.
Yes. You brought up an excellent point, and we actually have screened out some extremely, on paper, great candidates. But if you're in the interview with us and I overhear you with the recruiter bad-mouthing your previous employer, unfortunately, we're not going to move forward with you. If you're doing that, and I'm glad, and I tell my recruiters, I'm glad that she made you comfortable enough, or that you made her comfortable enough for her to divulge that, because we needed to see that. Because you end up in a situation with you just saying, when people hide things, and everybody has a mask that they wear, but eventually it comes off. So if you can't get it to come off while you're in the interview with that person, and then it comes off on the job site, it's going to be a bigger issue for you to deal with. So make them comfortable, see the true them. And when, unfortunately, that side comes out, I'm sorry, we can't move forward with that candidate, because we know, and we have been burnt many times. I have had the police to be called to one of my job sites. So when you don't dig and get the mask to come off, and you just deal with the surface in the interviews, unfortunately, that's what happens sometimes. But you gotta do your best to try to get to know people. You're never going to fully get to know them in an interview, because everybody knows that it's an interview. But we do try our best to get to know you so that we can put you through a couple of different scenarios, a couple of different tests, and see how you respond in that sort of stressful environment. And that will let me know whether or not you can sit in a boardroom with some executives. So we're always testing you. We're always watching you. You're always on, is what I tell people. Yeah. So if it's unfortunate when that does happen, but you got to be professional in the workspace. As much as we have so many work environments that are more fun and relaxed now. I've even worked in them where you get to wear jeans every day, but it's still work. It's
still work, and you still have to do the work. Yeah. Dr. Nicole Kennedy is bringing up a good point here. She said she was a contractor with the federal government and experienced racism and the agency would not relocate her, right? And she suffered a year in silence because it was important. It was important to be above reproach in her attitude and behavior. And sometimes we end up suffering in silence.
Yep.
And sometimes we have to until the next best thing comes along.
Yeah, that's the key.
It's unfortunate.
Mhm.
It's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate where you have, like the song says, nowhere to run, nowhere to, hide. Those who know what I'm talking about. But it's sometimes we end up suffering in silence
Yes.
because no one is an advocate for us.
Yes, yes. And you know what? I appreciate her sharing that. I too have experienced that, especially in the finance realm of corporate America. Um, and I'm glad that she's on the other side of that now. And
Yeah.
what I will say is, I bring that to the office every single day. I've had associates cry on the phone with me. And it may was something work related or it wasn't. I just try to be that person for them in the community because I know what it's like to not have anyone to be able to share that situation with. I had an associate call me the other night and he said that the environment that he worked in is cold. So I said, well, can you just put on an extra pair of socks? But by me talking to him and trying to give him other suggestions, the real issue came out. Well, they moved me to a different department and I really don't like this guy. He said a few things to me. I said, well, did you reach out to the manager? He said, I did have a good relationship with the manager. What do you want me to do? Was my response. How do you want me to support you? Do you want me to talk to HR? Can you give me someone's name? What do you need from me? Well, I'm going to go back in after talking to you. I'm going to go back in. I talked to the manager, so hopefully he'll move me back to the other side. I said, now I don't want anyone to ever take you out of character at work. And I never want to put you in an environment where you feel like you're forced to do that. So keep me informed. You have the number to text me. Talk to me, let me know what's going on, and let me know how I can support you. Because I can get Kelly to call HR now so that we can help mitigate some of this. I checked on him the next day. He was like, everything was fine last night. I appreciate you checking on me. So I know what it's like to be out there in the field because I too have worked through an agency in the past. I got to Black & Decker through an agency.
Mm-hmm.
So I know what it's like to be on both sides of the table. And it always is refreshing to have somebody in your corner. And that's why I tell them, and people have other experiences with agencies and they'll hear someone say, well, if you don't like it, just tell me. But you just have to tell me.
Right.
Just tell me what's going on and I'll try my best to help you. And like you said, find you something else. I've talked to other associates and I'm like, can you just hang in there a few more weeks while we work on trying to find you something else? Yes, Miss Kenya, I can do that. All right, perfect. Let's go.
Well, we could talk a long time about the stories that we've encountered and what people can do to help themselves. Also, what businesses need to do to make environments better. For the workers, because it is a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
It should be what I should say, a two-way street, because some businesses feel like you're fortunate enough to have a job. So no, go get your 2 socks.
Yeah.
We're going to keep our temperature, whatever. But we employers need to understand they're also dealing with humans. Yeah. And it is not all about them.
Yes.
They will continue to have turnover and continue to look for staff if they are not treating people appropriately, right, with dignity, pride, allowing them to express themselves in certain manners, professional manners I'm speaking of. So it is a two-way street.
I agree with you, and I'm going to support you to start this consulting business where we go and we tell them about this. You have no idea how many of those dialogues I know. Look at your face. You have no idea. I love these dialogues that I have with my clients, but they cringe and do not want to have them. And when I have to tell them, like, you have one person on your team that's making it a toxic work environment for everyone, and you're going to keep having this revolving door, and I'm getting tired of feeling it because you won't deal with the root cause of what's going on in your organization. If you're fine with it, I'm fine with it too. But there is an issue that we're not dealing with here that is festering and is bringing down the legacy of your business that's been established for 30 something years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but majority of them, they really don't want to deal with that. They do not want to have that dialogue. I have very few clients that really want to deal with that.
Yeah.
From the production side to the office side, they know what the issues are, and sometimes they will acknowledge the issues. Sometimes they pretend that they do not know. But at the end of the day, they have production, they have quotas, they have metrics that they have to meet. So they put blinders on and they just try to go down this path of fill this seat so that we could bring some more money into the organization, and we'll just keep going. But I agree with you. And I think that that is something that I'm hearing from a lot of the younger generation is what is the culture like?
Yeah.
And so I have to talk to them about both sides. Here's what the culture is like. Here's where you fit in. Here's what you bring to the table. But at the same time, you can't let that change you and what you're here to do. You're here to do a job. You are. You are here to get paid. You're doing that. So I know it's hard to put the blinders on and all of that, but it's unfortunate. And this is where we're probably going to have to see a turn in the table at some point as more of the younger generation come in, because they are very much more geared towards what is the culture like of the organization. And I don't want to be somewhere where people gossip, and I don't want to deal with this and all of that. And I'm like, ugh, I've dealt with that my whole 14 years, but
yeah. And I'm reading what Dr. Kennedy is writing here, and she says it would be helpful if, there were conflict resolution folks on site. Yeah, but companies don't want to pay for that.
no,
That's another head count. And then, and I think the ego gets in the way, which is here's who we are, love it or leave it.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what
I don't know whether it was the show Billions, but that was a TV show, okay, where they had a conflict resolution person on site, and they paid that person well, okay, but the show was called Billions, okay. The show was called Billions.
That's what I was going to say. Those people come with a heavy price tag.
Oh yeah.
Many organizations do not want that.
No. So I appreciate you being on today. We try to keep it short so that our people who are hitting replay will replay it all the way through. Right? Absolutely. That's the truth of the matter. Yeah. And I would like for you to, we don't want to end on sour notes. We want to end on high notes. So if you have words for encouragement for our audience as we are job searching, and as, little by little, we're making movement towards hopefully reopening, right? Do you have something that you would like to impart upon the viewing audience?
Sure. First, I'll say thank you so much for having me. This has been great. I enjoy when you and I together always. So I really appreciate this today. Words of wisdom. What I'll say first of all is we made it somewhat through. It's been a year of the pandemic, and we're holding on. And it's a very challenging time for many people. Whether you're still looking for employment, gained employment, have family that might be sick, you may went through a sickness yourself. But I do feel like there are more things that are opening up. I feel that people are gaining a little bit more confidence when it comes to getting back out there. So I'm glad to see that. And for those that are looking for employment, for those that want work and want to get back out there, Express Employment is here to help. We have over 806 offices between the U.S., Canada, and South Africa. One of our missions is to put 1 million people to work. Many of our offices are still working in a pandemic. So there are organizations like us that want to help, want to support you, want to make a difference in the community, want to make a difference in your family. So we are here. We're here to help with resume review. We'll help you revamp it. We're here to help you through the interview process. We have tests that you can take to kind of brush up on your skills. So we are always here in the community, trying to be a beacon of hope and help others. So any way that we can, we're here to help.
And this is why we've invited Ms. Taylor and her business to the Women's Leadership Forum, because we're here to help. And for as much as you may hear us talk about ghosting and what people ought to do, there are things and tips that we're giving you so that when you decide to go out there and do that search, because the decision is yours, right? The decision is yours. When you decide that you are armed and equipped with what's going on, with what's happening, you have a resource now. If you haven't taken down this name, take this opportunity to take it down and look her up on LinkedIn, okay? We're here to help you. That's what the Women's Leadership Forum is about. And we're here to encourage you, right? And so we are leaving here today on a high note, despite COVID, despite the pandemic. Those things are real. Yes. And we're going to acknowledge that it is a time where people are fearful, not only of COVID or the pandemic, there's other things that people are fearful of, right? But we have to face our fears. Yes. That's the reality of it. We're going to have to face our fears, figure out this COVID thing and how to work around it. People are developing, whether it's the vaccine, PPE, PPP, they're developing things so that the economy can get back to where it was. But it's going to take time and it's going to take effort on your behalf. We're trying to move everybody forward. This is a step by bringing Ms. Taylor and Express Pros. It's an attempt to move us forward and beyond our fears, beyond our anxieties. And we're inviting you. I'm rounding this back up. Now, you see where I'm going with this, audience? We're inviting you to come to the forum. Come see Ms. Taylor at the forum, because she's there for you. She's there to support you. She's there to be your cheerleader and encourager. March 18th through the 20th, we're coming virtually. Now, some of you say, I can't sit that long. You're talking about 3 days, Colette. We're not asking you to sit there in front of your computer all 3 days, but here's what we're asking you to do. Hop in, hop out. Hop in, hop out. We want you to have choices. If you're there expressly to find that job, hop in Ms. Taylor's room and she will talk to you about finding a job. If you want to know about finances, you hop in the finance room You want to know about writing your resume? You have two choices. You can go to the resume class or you go to Miss Taylor. You have choices, and that's the beauty of the platform. You will have choices, and yes, it does cost $50 to come. But let me just tell you this. We have not refused one woman who wants to be there. We haven't. You just need to raise your hand, email me, type, go to the website, say, I would like to be there. I can't afford it. I won't be able to afford it. I'm in this position. We make it just that easy. We have sponsors who want to see you move ahead. So I'm inviting you to be a part of us, be a part of this beautiful tribe, beautiful set of women who want to encourage you to move it forward and to keep it moving, right? Keep on moving. Used to be a song, keep on pushing. I don't know the words after that, but keep on moving, keep on pushing, keep on climbing those mountains, because it's that climb that makes you more valuable, makes you stronger. In your struggle, you learn, and you create opportunities for yourself. So I'm inviting you all to come to the forum. Now, what's up next? We're going to talk more about the heart, but we're going to speak in a language that makes sense, right? So on Friday, we have Miss Linda Katz-Wilner, who's from Successfully Speaking. I'm trying to say that well, y'all. Successfully Speaking, Miss Linda Katz-Wilner. And she will help us get the ums out of our sentences, make us stop crossing our arms when we are like at a boardroom meeting, or when we standing in line for McDonald's, okay? It all says something, and she's going to tell us what it all means and how we can do better in our communication skills. That's on Friday. And then we're back starting the week all over again. And then we're going to start with some exercises. I'm going to be ready. We're going to be doing exercises again. And wait a minute. Is it exercises? Is that the fourth Monday? Fourth Monday is nutrition. Whoa, wait. Woo, we get to talk about, wait a minute. Okay. We're going to talk about food. But it's going to be good food. Okay. Nutritious food. So come back on Monday, and we're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to have another recipe for you, because Miss Sharon Reed Burns is going to come back, and Chef Burns is going to give us that recipe, that easy 5 ingredient. Ooh, and these 5 ingredient recipe that we can make easy. Last time she gave us tomato basil soup. I still haven't made it. I haven't seen where you all have made it either. But we're going to try out her recipes, and we're going to take some pictures and see how good of a chef that we are. Okay. Now, we are not the end. Today, we supported a Black business, a Black-owned franchisee, a franchisor, and franchisee. Okay. And because it's Black History Month. Now, let me say something about that sentence I said right there. We should do more than just support them in the month of February. We're just presenting this month. Support them year round. Now, I'm not telling you to go quit a job so that you can support Miss Taylor, but you can utilize her services to help you to find a job when you are out of a job. She's there for you in Towson, Maryland. Okay. We are supporting 28 Days of Black Business, and we are posting in our social media. We are posting on Facebook. We're posting on Instagram. Black businesses each and every day through the month of February. And so if I haven't said it, happy Black History Month. And we are we're doing our part to support businesses like Miss Taylor's. Now, where does that bring us? Out of the month of February, and we will be marching where? Everybody ought to be able to say this with me. Right into the Women's Leadership Forum. March is marching right into the Women's Leadership Forum, March 18th, 19th, and 20th. We have jobs for you. We have programs for you. We're bringing the Department of Labor. We're bringing Toyota. We're bringing schools. We're bringing apprenticeships. There's no excuses, y'all. Look, we're trying to bring that unemployment rate down.
Yes.
Down. That's a mission, and we're doing it through the Women's Leadership Forum. So I want you all to continue to mask up, because I want y'all, if you got to go out, mask up. Continue to mask up. We're going to find out more about that at the Women's Leadership Forum about masking up. Continue to remain socially distant, and wash your hands. Wash your hands. Follow those rules, and then we will be safe. We will be safe enough to go to Towson to see Miss Taylor and ask and apply for a job. Now, Miss Taylor, we give that signatory wave because this is the end of our program. We want to thank everybody who is viewing, who commented, who shared of themselves, and who's going to continue to share of themselves to make our program great. And we want to see you. We're going to see you tomorrow when we are talking with Miss Linda Katz-Weiler of Successfully Speaking. And so until tomorrow, I'm going to try to get this right. We're going to wave. Come on, Miss Taylor. We're going to wave away, but we're going to say, see you tomorrow. We appreciate you. We love you. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you for being a guest on our show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, audience. You were great. Thank you for all the comments. That's what we need. We need to hear from you. See you soon.